I heard coming out of anesthesia from the colonoscopy. And it was in that haze where the doctor said, it is cancer.
He starred in one of the biggest TV shows of the 90s, made millions in Hollywood, had every advantage you could imagine. 2.5 years after his cancer diagnosis, his family was broke. This is a story of how James Van Der Beek's emergency fund wasn't even close to enough. How a successful actor went from selling memorabilia at auction to begging strangers for money on GoFundMe just to keep his family in their home. And the scariest part, if it happened to him, it could happen to anyone. Austin, Texas, 2023, a 36-acre ranch, 6 children, ages 4 to 15, a wife who'd been by his side for over a decade, and James Van Der Beek, the guy who played Dawson Leary, the hopeless romantic who cried on TV and launched 1,000 memes. Dawson's Creek ran from 1998 to 2003, 6 seasons, 128 episodes. At its peak, 8 million viewers every week. The show that made Katie Holmes a star, launched Joshua Jackson's career, and turned Van Der Beek into a household name. After the show ended, Van Der Beek did what most actors do. He worked. Varsity Blues had already made him a movie star. He did guest spots, recurring roles, Dancing with the Stars, voice work, cameos, nothing huge, but steady, the kind of career that keeps the checks coming. He wasn't A-list, but he wasn't broke either. By all accounts, he'd done everything right. Married young, had a family, bought property, stayed employed, lived in Texas instead of burning money in LA. Smart, responsible choices. The kind of guy financial advisors point to and say, see, that's how you do it. Mid-2023, stage 3 colorectal cancer. He didn't tell anyone at first, kept working, kept posting on social media, kept being Dawson. Because that's what you do when you have 6 kids and a mortgage and a life that depends on you showing up. But behind the scenes, the clock was ticking. November 2024, Van Der Beek goes public with his diagnosis, posts a statement on Instagram. I have colorectal cancer. I've been privately dealing with this diagnosis and have been taking steps to resolve it. The comments flood in, thoughts and prayers. You got this, Dawson forever. But thoughts and prayers don't pay for cancer treatment. Early 2025, Prop Store, an auction house that specializes in entertainment memorabilia, announces something unusual. James Van Der Beek is selling items from his personal collection. Not just any items. Dawson's Creek props, costumes, the actual pieces that made the show iconic. Up for auction, the necklace Dawson gave Joey at prom. The one from that scene every fan remembers. Starting bid, $500. Final sale, over $30,000. Also for sale, his Varsity Blues jerseys, scripts with his handwritten notes, wardrobe pieces, 20 years of his career, boxed up and sold to the highest bidder. In a statement, Van Der Beek said, I've been storing these treasures for years, waiting for the right time to do something with them. And with all the recent unexpected twists and turns life has presented recently, it's clear that the time is now. Unexpected twists and turns. That's one way to say you're running out of money. The total from the memorabilia sales? Over $47,000, according to reports. For context, that's what some people spend on a wedding, what a decent used car costs, what you might pay for 1 year at a state university. It's also less than what many cancer patients spend in their first few months of treatment. But Van Der Beek kept going, because $47,000 wasn't enough. September 2025, the cast of Dawson's Creek reunites for a live stage event, a fundraiser to help their former co-star pay for his medical treatment. Katie Holmes is there, Joshua Jackson, Michelle Williams, Busy Phillips, the whole gang back together after 20 years. Van Der Beek appears via video message, too sick to attend in person, but he shows up the only way he can. The event raises money. Not enough. Never enough. January 2026. Paul Walter Hauser, an actor you might recognize from I, Tonya, or Blackbird, launches a Cameo campaign. For those who don't know, Cameo is a platform where celebrities record personalized video messages for money. Hauser's pitch. Every dollar he makes goes directly to Van Der Beek's medical expenses. It didn't sit well with me that he was selling memorabilia for medical bills, Hauser said. He raises $14,000 before Van Der Beek dies. Think about what's happening here. A successful actor is selling his past. His co-stars are doing charity events. Other actors are donating their side hustle income. This isn't how it's supposed to work for someone who made it. But here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. Van Der Beek probably had an emergency fund. He probably had savings. He almost certainly had health insurance. And it didn't matter. February 11th, 2026. James Van Der Beek dies at age 48. 2.5 years from diagnosis to death. That's 30 months, 912 days, each one costing money he didn't have. Hours after his death, friends launch a GoFundMe. The description is carefully worded, the way these things always are when someone's died and their family is desperate. James Vander Beek was a beloved husband, father, and friend who touched the lives of everyone around him. After a long and courageous battle with cancer, James passed away on February 11, 2026. The cost of James's medical care and extended fight against cancer have left the family out of funds. Out of funds. Not struggling. Not could use some help. Out of funds. The statement continues. They are working hard to stay in their home and to ensure the children can continue their education and maintain some stability during this incredibly difficult time. 6 children, ages 4 to 15. The youngest will barely remember him. The oldest is losing a parent right before college, and they're fighting to stay in their home. Within 24 hours, the GoFundMe hits $1 million. Within 48 hours, it passes $2 million. By February 14th, it reaches $2.3 million. Notable donors, Zoe Saldana, Steven Spielberg, and Kate Capshaw, who reportedly contributed $25,000. Derek Hoff, anonymous benefactors dropping $30,000 at a time. The public, generous as always when someone famous needs help, open their wallets. But here's what keeps me up at night. Why did they need to open their wallets at all? So what went wrong? How does someone who starred in a hit TV show, who made millions over a 25-year career, who by all accounts was smart with money, end up with a family that's out of funds and fighting to stay in their home? The answer isn't what you think. Let's talk about emergency funds. The advice you've heard 1,000 times from every financial guru, every article, every well-meaning advisor. 3 to 6 months of expenses. That's the rule. If your monthly expenses are $4,000, you need $12,000 to $24,000 saved up. If you're really cautious, go for 9 months. That's $36,000. This advice isn't wrong. For normal emergencies, it works. Car breaks down, $2,000 repair. Your emergency fund covers it. Furnace dies in the middle of winter, $5,000 replacement. Emergency fund. You lose your job. 6 months to find a new one. Emergency fund keeps the lights on while you interview. But Vander Beek didn't have a normal emergency. He had cancer. And cancer doesn't care about your emergency fund guidelines. Let's break down what cancer actually costs. Not what you imagine it costs. Not what any single person necessarily pays. But what it can cost a family when everything goes wrong. First, the treatment costs. Stage 3 colorectal cancer. That's what Vander Beek was diagnosed with. Here's what treating that typically costs to the healthcare system, according to medical research and insurance data. Initial phase, the first year after diagnosis. Surgery to remove the tumor. Chemotherapy. Radiation. Frequent doctor visits. Scans every few months to check if it's spreading. Total treatment cost, $43,000 to $56,000. Now, what a patient actually pays out of pocket depends entirely on their insurance. If you have excellent coverage with low deductibles and out-of-pocket maximums, you might pay $5,000 to $10,000 in that first year. If you have a high deductible plan, you could be paying $15,000 to $20,000 or more out of your own pocket. If you're uninsured or underinsured, you're looking at the full amount. Continuing phase, years 2 and 3. Ongoing chemotherapy, maintenance drugs, more scans, physical therapy because the treatment destroys your body almost as much as the cancer does. Treatment cost, $5,300 to $7,200 per year. Again, your out-of-pocket portion depends on your specific insurance plan. But even with good coverage, you're hitting those deductibles and copays every single year. End-of-life phase, when the cancer comes back, spreads, stops responding to treatment. Hospice care, palliative treatment. The desperate experimental therapies insurance typically won't cover because they're not proven. Treatment cost, $92,500 to $109,000. This is where insurance often fails completely. Experimental treatments, not covered. Clinical trials, maybe, maybe not. Alternative therapies, definitely not. Add it up. Total treatment costs for 30 months, $150,000 to $200,000 going through the healthcare system. What a family actually pays out of pocket can range from $20,000 with excellent insurance to the full $200,000 if they're uninsured or if insurance denies key treatments. Let's assume Vander Beek had decent insurance. Let's say his family's out-of-pocket costs were $50,000 over 30 months. That's manageable for someone who made millions, right? Except that's just the medical bills. Because here's what those numbers don't include. The experimental immunotherapy that might give you 6 more months. $50,000 to $200,000. Insurance says no. The specialized cancer center 3 states away doing a clinical trial. Travel costs. Hotel for your family. Meals. $10,000 to $30,000. Insurance doesn't cover travel. the supplements and alternative treatments you try, because you're desperate, and the internet says they might help. $5,000 to $15,000. Definitely not covered. Home modifications when you can't walk upstairs anymore. $5,000 to $20,000. Not medical, not covered. So even with insurance, even with decent coverage, a family can easily spend $100,000 to $150,000 out of pocket on top of what insurance pays. Could a successful actor afford that? Maybe. Tight, but maybe. Except medical costs are just the first part of the equation. There's a second cost. One that's even bigger. One that nobody talks about when they tell you to save 6 months of expenses. When you have cancer, you can't work. Let that sink in for a second. You can't work. You're too sick from the chemotherapy, too weak from the radiation, too busy with appointments, procedures, tests, and sitting in waiting rooms. Even if you wanted to work, you can't. And if you can't work, you can't earn. Vander Beek was a working actor. Guest appearances, voice work, cameos, conventions. The kind of steady income that adds up to a few $100,000 a year. Let's be conservative. Let's say he was making $200,000 annually from acting work. 2.5 years of treatment. That's $500,000 in lost income. But it gets worse. His wife, Kimberly, 6 kids at home. James is going through cancer treatment. Someone needs to take him to appointments, manage his medications, take care of him when he's too weak to get out of bed, watch the kids when he's in the hospital. Who does that? His wife, which means she can't work either. Or if she does work, she has to cut back dramatically. Research on cancer caregivers shows this happens in 35% of cases. The caregiver stops working completely. In another 30%, they reduce their hours and take a pay cut. Even if Kimberly was only making $50,000 a year, losing that income for 2 years is another $100,000. So now we're at out-of-pocket medical costs. $100,000 to $150,000 lost income, patient. $500,000 lost income, caregiver. $100,000 total. $700,000 to $750,000, and we're still not done. 6 kids, ages 4 to 15. James is at the hospital. Kimberly is with him. Who's watching the kids? Childcare. $200 to $500 per week, depending on how many kids and how many hours. Over 30 months. That's $24,000 to $60,000. Therapy, because watching your dad die of cancer at age 8 is something you're going to need help processing. $150 per session, once a week for multiple kids. Add another $15,000 to $30,000. Special dietary needs. Cancer patients often can't eat normal food. Nausea, mouth sores, digestive issues. You end up buying whatever they can keep down, cost be damned. $300 to $500 per month. That's $9,000 to $15,000. Increased insurance premiums. Once you have a cancer diagnosis, your rates can go up if you try to change policies. Even though pre-existing conditions are technically protected, insurance companies have ways. All the small things. Gas for the endless doctor appointments. Parking fees at the hospital. Hotel rooms when treatment is far from home. The wheelchair ramp you have to install. The shower grab bars. The medical alert system. Each one seems small. $50 here. $200 there. $500 for that thing insurance denied. Over 30 months. It's another $30,000 to $50,000. Final tally. Out-of-pocket medical costs. $100,000 to $150,000 lost income, patient. $500,000 lost income, caregiver. $100,000 childcare, therapy, modifications. $50,000 total. $750,000 to $800,000 now. Let's talk about that emergency fund. The one every financial advisor says you need. 6 months of expenses. Let's say Vander Beek's family expenses were $10,000 per month. Nice house, 6 kids, living in Texas. That's reasonable. 6 months, $60,000. Traditional advice says that's a great emergency fund. You're responsible. You're prepared. You need $750,000. You have $60,000. You're not prepared. You're not even close. After Vander Beek's death, the internet did what the internet does. People got angry, not at Vander Beek, at the system that let this happen. One journalist with 4 million followers tweeted, "There was absolutely no reason Sony Pictures couldn't have quietly paid for his treatment." And you know what? He's right. Sony Pictures owns Dawson's Creek. They've made hundreds of millions from that show. Streaming deals, DVD sales, syndication. Katie Holmes and Joshua Jackson becoming movie stars made Sony money for decades. One actor's cancer treatment, even $200,000 in out-of-pocket costs. The company could have written a check that afternoon and not notice a dent in their quarterly earnings. But they didn't. Why? Because that's not how it works in America. You're on your own. Doesn't matter how much value you created for the company. Doesn't matter that you made them rich. When you get sick, that's your problem. An NBC News opinion piece put it bluntly. Let this man's passing and story serve as a searing indictment against America's broken healthcare system. But here's the thing. This isn't just about healthcare. It's about a system that tells you to save 6 months of expenses while designing emergencies that can cost 15 times that much. It's about insurance companies that technically cover cancer treatment, but find ways to deny the stuff that actually works. It's about a society that watches a beloved actor sell his life's memories at auction and thinks, that's sad, but doesn't change anything. James Van Der Beek did everything right. Successful career. Check. Stayed employed for 25 years. Check. Presumably had insurance. Check. Probably had savings. Check. Made smart choices. Check. He did everything the financial experts tell you to do. And his family was left out of funds and working hard to stay in their home. If he couldn't survive this financially, what makes you think you can? So here's the uncomfortable truth. You cannot save enough money to protect yourself from a catastrophic medical crisis. You can't. The math doesn't work. If you need $750,000 to survive a major cancer diagnosis, and you're following traditional advice to save 6 months of expenses, you're $690,000 short. Well, great. You're thinking, so I'm screwed. Thanks for the nightmare fuel. No, you're not screwed. But you can't rely on cash savings alone. Here's what you actually need. The real Van Der Beek Emergency Fund Formula. Tier 1. The $1,000 foundation start here. Even $1,000 will stop a lot of financial emergencies from destroying you. Flat tire, $200. Minor medical bill, $500. Last minute flight to see a dying relative, $400. These are the emergencies that send people into debt because they have nothing. $1,000 keeps you out of that trap. Tier 2, 3-month expenses. This is your core emergency fund, the one you build before you do anything else. 3 months, not 6, not 9, 3. Why? Because 6 months sound impossible and you'll never start. 3 months is achievable. If your expenses are $4,000 per month, that's $12,000. If they're $6,000, it's $18,000. Build this fund like your life depends on it, because one day it might. This fund covers normal emergencies, job loss, car repairs, medical bills that aren't catastrophic, but it will not save you from cancer, from disability, from the stuff that costs $750,000. For that, you need the next tiers. Tier 3, disability insurance. This is the big one, the one most people don't have, the one that would have helped Van Der Beek the most. Disability insurance replaces your income when you can't work. Not if you die, if you can't work. Remember that $500,000 in lost income Van Der Beek faced? Disability insurance would have covered it. Most employer plans offer 60% of your income for up to 2 years. Better than nothing, but not enough. 2 years of cancer treatment turned into 2.5. That extra 6 months, you're on your own. And 60% of your income when you have 6 kids and medical bills piling up, that's not enough either. Private disability insurance is better. You can get policies that cover 60 to 70% of your income until age 65 or until you can return to work. Cost? $50 to $150 per month, depending on your age, occupation, and coverage amount. Yes, that's $600 to $1,800 per year, but it's covering potentially hundreds of thousands in lost income if you get sick. Do the math. Now, I'm not an insurance agent, so you'll want to talk to a professional about what coverage makes sense for your situation. But this is the framework most people need. Tier 4, critical illness insurance. This one's different. It's not about replacing income. It's a lump sum payment when you're diagnosed with cancer, heart attack, stroke, or another specified critical illness. $50,000, $100,000, $250,000. You pick the amount when you buy the policy. Get diagnosed with stage 3 colorectal cancer? Here's $100,000. No restrictions on how you use it. Pay for experimental treatment. Insurance won't cover. Travel to specialists. Childcare. Whatever you need. Cost? $30 to $100 per month for a $100,000 policy, depending on age and health. Again, do the math. You're paying $360 to $1,200 per year for $100,000 in coverage. That $100,000 could have covered Van Der Beek's out-of-pocket medical costs, plus the childcare, plus the therapy, plus the modifications. Tier 5, term life insurance. This one's for if you die, your family gets a payout. $500,000, $1 million, whatever amount you choose. It doesn't help you while you're sick, but it keeps your family from going on GoFundMe after you're gone. Cost? Shockingly cheap. A healthy 40-year-old can get $1 million in coverage for $40 to $60 per month. Now let's add it up. 3-month emergency fund. $12,000 to $18,000. One-time saving goal. disability insurance, $100 per month. Critical illness, $50 per month. Term life insurance, $50 per month. Monthly cost, $200 annual cost, $2,400. That $2,400 per year buys you $200,000 to $500,000 in income replacement if you can't work, $100,000 lump sum if you get cancer, $1 million for your family if you die, plus the peace of mind that comes from knowing you're actually protected. Compare that to trying to save $750,000 in cash. At $2,000 per month in savings, it would take you 31 years to save $750,000. Or you could spend $200 per month on insurance and be protected starting next month. This is the framework. Cash for normal emergencies, insurance for catastrophic ones. Because you can't save your way out of cancer, but you can insure your way through it. So there you have it. James Van Der Beek's story isn't just a tragedy. It's a warning that the emergency fund advice you've heard your whole life is designed for emergencies from a different era. Car repairs, job loss, a broken furnace. It's not designed for medical catastrophes that can cost $750,000 and destroy families. The uncomfortable truth is this. Most Americans are one diagnosis away from financial devastation. Doesn't matter how much you make. Doesn't matter how responsible you are. Doesn't matter how well you planned. If you're relying on 6 months of cash savings to protect you from cancer, you're not prepared. You're just hoping it doesn't happen to you. Van Der Beek hoped it wouldn't happen to him. He was 46 when he got diagnosed. Healthy, active, successful. It happened anyway. His family is now raising their 6 kids on GoFundMe donations and the kindness of strangers. Steven Spielberg wrote a $25,000 check. Zoe Saldana set up recurring monthly donations. 24,000 people gave what they could. That's beautiful. It's heartwarming. It's exactly what you want to see from humanity. But it's also a complete failure of the system. A man who entertained millions, who created value for decades, who worked until he literally couldn't anymore. His family shouldn't need a GoFundMe. They should have been protected. He should have been able to fight cancer without also fighting bankruptcy. And maybe that's the real question we should be asking. Not, how much do I need in my emergency fund? But why do I need $750,000 to survive cancer in the richest country in the world? If James Van Der Beek, with millions in career earnings and every advantage, couldn't survive this financially, what makes you think your 6-month emergency fund will? Start building your layers of protection today, because cancer doesn't wait for you to be ready.